Hello teachers, learners, and parents. Sir Jeff po, at your service. Alam nyo ba na meron tayong website na tinatawag na DepEd Commons? Ang DepEd Commons ay binuo upang gawing accessible ang pagtuturo at pag-aaral dito sa ating bansa gamit lamang ang inyong mga smart devices gaya ng cellphones, tablets, at computers. Dito ay maaari nating ma-access ang iba't ibang learning materials mula sa Department of Education. Meron itong mga interactive materials, electronic self-learning modules, at instructional video lessons mula sa DepEd TV na tiyak na makatutulong sa pag-aaral ng mga mag-aaral galing ka man sa public o private school. Walang problema dahil welcome ang lahat dito. Para ito sa mga guro, magulang at mga mag-aaral mula sa kinder hanggang grade 12, alternative learning system o ALS, at pati na rin ang special education. At huwag kang mag-alala dahil kahit walang load ay maaari mong ma-access ang mga learning materials. Tama! Libre ito. Ang kailangan mo lamang gawin ay i-on ang iyong data at buksan lamang ang iyong browser at i-type ang commons.deped.gov.ph. Alam na ba ng iyong mga kasamahang guro o mag-aral ang tungkol sa DepEd Commons? I-share mo na ang video na ito upang matuto rin sila kung paano gagamitin ang DepEd Commons sa mabilis at napakadaling paraan. Muli, ito po si Sir Jeff at kita-kits po tayo sa DepEd Commons. Paalam!
Magandang araw! Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETUlay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETUlay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICT's Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na Pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETUlay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Good afternoon, everyone, to all the learners out there and to their parents, and of course to our teachers who are now watching ETUlay for English 7. A pleasant afternoon, everyone. So we are now back to ETUlay, and this time we're going to start with week 1 of the 4th quarter. Just imagine we're left with 7 or 8 weeks until we finally move to the next level of our education. So that's a good job to everyone. I congratulate everyone for surviving this. I know this is a very difficult online class. So good, congratulations everyone. You've done a great job. And thank you also for still watching ETUlay, not just English, but of course for the whole week, as you would like to learn more about your subjects. So for today, we're going to have the first session for English 7. So that would be quarter 4, week 1, and our topic will be to employ a variety of strategies for effective interpersonal communication for interview. So we are going to assume that we will be interviewed this afternoon, and I'll be giving you some tips for you to have or for you to use effective interpersonal communication, so you're going to ace that interview. So again, I am your tutor for this afternoon. I'm Tutor Drazel, and I am always with you every Tuesday from 1:40 to 2:20 p.m., guiding you in all English 7 learning competencies for this school year. So this would be our objectives. At the end of the session, you will be able to know the following or learn the following learning competencies. First is to distinguish the different types of interpersonal communication. And then the second one is to apply a variety of strategies for effective interpersonal communication. And we're going to make use of this in an interview. Okay, so are you excited to be interviewed this afternoon? We're going to have that today. So let us now start with our pretest. Get ready with your ball pen, with your paper, so we can start with our first activity. And this is to measure or to gauge, do you think you are ready for our activities or for our lesson or session for this afternoon? Come on, get ready. So please get your materials now so we can start with the first 5 items of the pretest. Okay, I'm giving you a little or a short time for that to prepare. While doing that, while waiting for everybody to get ready, let me greet everyone who are already here. Actually, the very first comment was Maria Angela Samantha. Okay, that's the first to comment. Okay, so thank you very much for being the first one to watch the ETUlay session for this afternoon. And also, we have some people here from Ingud Ramona Integrated School. That's as far as Angadanan West District, Isabela. We also have Mangahan High School from Admirable. Okay, and from Roberto Cangleon, from Gabriela Silang, from Luis Taruk, and from Pio Valenzuela. Good afternoon, everyone. We also have some teachers here, of course, from the Schools Division's Office of Pasig City. Before we proceed, let me greet everybody, of course. From SDO Pasig, thank you very much for allowing me to use your self-learning module for this afternoon. Okay, so I think everybody is already ready. So let us now start with our pretest. Now this would be our instruction or our direction. You are just going to choose the letter of the best answer. So there would be choices, of course, and you're just going to choose the letter. That's very easy for you. Okay, let's have the first item. It is the process by which people exchange information, feelings, and meaning through verbal and nonverbal messages. Choices are letter A, interpersonal communication. Letter B, we have oral communication. Letter C, we have spoken language. And letter D, we have written language. What do you think is the best answer? Please comment the answer, the letter, of course, and don't forget to write the number so I will be able to check. Okay, we have the first answer here from our tutor of the week. That's last week, Mark Platon. Congratulations again, Mark. So we have an answer here also from Regine, from Kathleya, from Rolf. Hi also, Ma'am Vien. Okay, we have also answers from Francine. Let us check if their answer is correct. Okay, very good. It's letter A. So we got the correct answer. And Nonoy and Christine and Jessa and Rod, you got it correctly. Next, let's have number 2. Number 2, it involves speaking from the words you choose to your tone of voice when you say them. It's letter A, interpersonal, B, oral. Letter C, we have written communication. Or is it letter D for nonverbal communication? What do you think is the correct answer for the pretest number 2? Please write your answers to the comments section. Okay, we have an answer here. Again, we have answers from Harvey, from Guadalquiver, from Jonathan, from Hariel. So let us check if their answer is correct. It's letter B. Very good. Melbert, Miles, Isaias, and Lean, you got it correctly. Next, number 3. It includes words and symbols. For examples, we have emojis and punctuations that are typed or marked with a pen, pencil, or other writing instrument? Is it letter A, interpersonal communication, letter B, written communication, C, nonverbal communication, or letter D, listening? Which do you think is the correct answer for number 3? Okay, we have an answer here now from Kathleya, from Mark also, and then from Kate and Francis. And we also have from JV and Angela and Juliana. Let us check if their answer is correct. Very good. It's written communication. Let's have number 4. It includes any communication that does not use words, hand gestures, eye contact, facial expressions, body posture, clothing, and even the objects on your desk are conveying a message to your audience. Is it A, oral communication, B, we have answers from Angela, from Syri Bell, from Rigeline, from Kabisaya, from John Kiyoshi, from Ashley. Let us check if their answer is correct. It's letter C. So Nonoy de Loverges, you got it correctly. Next, let's have the last number for the pretest. Number 5, it is the most fundamental component of interpersonal communication skills. Is it letter A, oral communication? Letter B, written communication? Letter C, nonverbal communication? Or letter D, listening? What is the answer for the last number of the pretest? We have answers now. Okay, I'm still waiting. They are still typing. And we have now an answer from Kate, from Jill, from Cyribel, from Francis, from Sarah, from Carlene. Let us check if their answer is correct. What do you think is the most fundamental component of interpersonal communication skills? That would be listening, of course. So you really have to listen well. So now with the pretest, let us first check how did you do in our activity for this afternoon. That would be for the pretest. Can you give me one happy face if you got a 5 in the pretest? Before we continue, let us check how many got a 5 in the pretest. Okay, so do we have happy faces now in our comment section? Okay, so we now have a happy face from Lance, from Angela, from Christine, from Kate, from Rolf, from Kathleya, Princess. Congratulations, you did well. And that's just the pretest, but you did well already. So that means that you are very prepared for the ETUlay session for this afternoon. So let us now continue. So I want you to listen to this. I am going to read a phone conversation, okay? It's a phone dialogue. And I want you to listen. You can read along with me. This would be a dialogue between two people. And then afterwards, after the dialogue, we're going to discuss it, okay? So let us now start. Hello, good afternoon. Hi, who's this? Hello, this is Miss Baltasar from S2 Love Company. May I speak to Miss Sola Alcantara, please? Hi, this is Sola Alcantara. I'm just wondering if you have 5 minutes of your time to talk about the position you are applying for. Sure. How did you prepare yourself for this interview? I had a short prayer before answering this call. I see. I think you are ready. Can you tell me something about your last job? So that concludes the phone conversation of two people. We have Miss Baltasar and Miss Sola Alcantara. Okay, now we have some few questions here. Let us answer this in the comment section. Please do participate. If you would like to answer, just type in the answers for the questions. The first question is, who are the people in the conversation? Okay. I already mentioned that after the phone interview. Again, who are the people in the conversation? You can give one or you can give two if you remember both of them. Okay, while we're waiting, let me congratulate Roberto, Eliza, Brianna May, Athena, and Hazel for getting a 5 last time in our pretest. So we already have an answer here from Kate Arcelia, and she said it's Miss Baltasar and Shola Alcantara. Very good, Kate. You still remember the two people talking in our conversation. So next, what do you think was the conversation about? If you really listen to the conversation, you can very well answer this. That would be very easy. What do you think was the conversation or was the phone call about? Okay, let us see who among these learners would be the first to answer. Okay. Again, it was Kate, I mean. Okay. So her answer is it's a phone interview. Okay, very good. It's all about a job interview. So Regine, you got it. Chloe, you got it. Cabizares, you got it. So very, very good. Daniela also. So that would be a phone interview. Next, the third question is, what did Miss Alcantara feel about the conversation? Okay, what was she feeling when she was being interviewed through the phone? What do you think was she feeling? Okay, let us check if you still remember or you were able to understand the feeling of Miss Alcantara. Okay, there are some people here who are still answering prior questions. Okay, we now have an answer from JV, and she said Miss Alcantara was nervous. Okay, the same with Chloe also. So that's very good. But according to Kate, she was ready and she did pray before answering the call. That's very good. So you were able to remember all the details of the phone conversation. So, of course, Miss Alcantara also felt nervous about it. Who wouldn't be nervous in an interview? Of course, everybody would get nervous, right? So now let us have some important points in the conversation. First, the applicant was prepared ahead about how to deliver answers to difficult questions. Okay, so she really prepared for it. And in addition, the applicant didn't forget to have a short prayer before answering the initial phone interview, even she felt a bit nervous. Okay, so of course, somehow the nervousness would be eased if you say a little prayer, because definitely the courage would be back once you have already prayed. Okay, now this is an example, or what is an interpersonal communication. So let us try to define it first. So interpersonal communication is the process of exchanging information, ideas, and feelings between two or more people, and this is through verbal or non-verbal methods. So please do remember that interpersonal communication is your communication with other people. When we say intra-personal communication, that is your communication with yourself. Okay, that's within you. So what about oral communication? So, oral communication is anything that involves speaking, words you choose to your tone of voice when you say them, and it's very vital to your work and can even make you more likable. Okay, so that is through oral communication. Now, what are the examples of oral communication? First, of course, we have public speaking. Next, of course, we have phone calls, just like what we had a while ago. We also had audio messages. Okay, when you're sending audio clips to your friends or to anybody from Messenger, you're using oral communication. Podcasting is also an example of that. And we also have radio interviews. And of course, we also have meetings. So these are examples of oral communication. Now, what are the strategies now for oral communication? So, for you to have an effective oral communication, these are the things that you have to follow. First, you have to pay attention to intonation. The intonation actually can give you a lot of clues as to what the speaker is feeling and as to what his message really is. So you really have to pay attention to that. Next, you also have to omit or reduce verbal fillers. When we say verbal fillers, it is actually here in the Philippines, we are fond of really using verbal fillers like so when you introduce yourself, you're going to say, my name is ano. Those are verbal fillers. So you really have to remove that. Those are fillers. And also we have a lot of things like all right, okay. So you may omit them. Okay. Next, we also have to change the speaking rate depending on the situation. So your rate will also give us a clue or give the receivers a clue as to what you really mean. Okay, that is if you are speaking so slow or are you speaking so fast. So that would also add up to the meaning of your messages. So those are the things that we use as strategies for oral communication. Now, what is a written communication? Written communication includes words and symbols like emojis and punctuations. They are typed or marked with a pen, pencil, or other writing instrument. These are examples of written communication. Let me just read them for you. We have emails. We also have text messages and reports, proposals, of course. We have job descriptions, performance evaluations. We also have grammar, that's written communication. And of course, we also have PowerPoint. So, like what I am using now. So, I'm using written communication through the PowerPoint, and I'm also using oral communication on how I speak to you. Now, these are the strategies for written communication. I'm going to give you two important strategies. First is to enhance written messages with emojis. So that gives us a clue. Okay, and of course we can also know limitations of written communications. Although of course or emojis, we can say that emojis would not really be that professional when you're going to make use of it in business communication, but it adds up messages. Okay, or it adds up meaning to your messages. You just have to choose the proper emojis or the most appropriate emojis for your message. Next is nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication is any communication that does not use words. So what we're going to use will be hand gestures and eye contact. Okay, these are the examples of nonverbal communication. We have voice speech, how high or how low the tone of your voice may be. Clothing, the way you dress can actually give a meaning also and can also give us a clue of what kind of person you are, even your mood also. Next, we also have gestures or hand language. So this one, okay, or this one, that's an example of hand language. We can also make use of facial expressions, of course. That would be very, very nice. And body postures is also a very good example of nonverbal communication. Now, what are the strategies that we can use for effective nonverbal communication? So, in an interview, don't forget that you can use a firm handshake. Although now, in this pandemic, we are not allowed to make use of a handshake. When this is finally over, when everything is back to normal, we can now make use of a firm handshake in an interview. Next, of course, avoid slouching. Okay, do not be do have a good posture, of course, and express emotions through facial. So show the interviewer that you are really happy, and that would be through your facial expressions. Now, the fourth kind of interpersonal communication, an important component of communication, would be listening. So listening is the most fundamental component of interpersonal communication skills. And listening is not something that happens like hearing. Okay, listening is an active process in which a conscious decision is made to listen to and understand the messages of the speaker. So unlike hearing, hearing is physiological. Okay, everybody may hear, not unless you have a problem with hearing. But listening, it has to be part of the brain. Of course, you really have to understand the messages of the speaker. What are the strategies now for effective listening? First, of course, what you can do is use active listening. So you really have to listen, okay, and understand everything. And then practice empathy, okay. So you have to understand the feelings of the people around you, especially those who are talking to you. And the next one would be feel free to make the video chat a phone call instead. Okay, so that would be in an interview, of course. So instead of making a video chat, why not make a phone call? That would be also very, very good. So let us now have activity one so we can check whether you have learned something from the lesson that I have just discussed to you. Let us check now. Are you ready with activity one? Let us just comment, type your comments or your answers using the comment section. So let us now start. Okay, so this is very easy. Our activity one, the direction is T. You write T if the statement is true, and F if the statement is false. So this is just true or false. T or F. Okay, I'll make myself clear. That's only a T and an F, not a true or a false. Okay, so just let's make this simple. It's just T or F. Okay, let us start with activity one, number one. Is it a T or an F? Next, number two. Sending a text message is another way of communicating with others through writing. Okay, that's number two. Number three, oral communication is not a vital type of interpersonal communication in applying for a job. Number four, using too much filler is enjoyable to the listeners. And number five, it is better not to ask questions for something that needs clarifications. Okay, let us now start or check your answers. For number one, we have answers here from Guadalquivir, from LC and LJ. Let us see if their answer is correct. Okay, the answer is letter T for true. So okay, so let's have the answer for number two. It's letter T also. That's very good. So next, let's have number three. For number three, the answer of Eliza is an F. Let us check if that is really an F. Very good, Eliza. That's an F. Next, we have number four. For number four, the answer of Harvey is an F. Let us check if Harvey is correct. Very good, Harvey. It's an F. And then for number five, according to Hariel, it's a T. According to Elsie, it's an F. According to Ira, it's an F. According to Ryan, it's an F. Let us see who among them is correct. It's letter F. Okay, so you really have to ask questions if there is some. Let us check for activity one. Who got a 5? Let me see on the comments if you got a 5. Please comment a heart. Okay, let me see if our comment section will be flooded with hearts. If you got a 5 in our activity 1, please comment with a heart. Let us check. We now have hearts from Sarah, from JC, from LJ, from Ryan, from Ira, from Jana, and from Paul, and Roberto, and Raya, and Ia, and Seti, and Harvey, and Francis, and Boymar. We have a lot of hearts, so very good, people. You really aced activity 1. Very, very good. Next. So that means you're already ready for activity 2. Okay, let us now start. Can we now start with activity 2? Okay, let us check if you're ready now. Let us have the direction for activity 2. You are choosing, or you are going to choose the letter of the correct answer. This is for activity 2. Okay, let us now have the numbers or the items for activity 2. Number 1, handshakes, eye contacts, and facial expressions are examples of blank. Again, handshakes, eye contacts, and facial expressions are examples of blank. Let's have the choices. Letter A, is it oral communication? Letter B, is it written communication? C, is it nonverbal communication? Or letter D, is it listening? What do you think is the answer for number 1? Again, handshakes, eye contacts, and facial expressions are examples of blank. Okay, do we have answers now? We have answers now from Francis, from D1, from Alexis, and from Francine, and from John Oliver, from Cyrus, from Maria Eliza Zonel. Let us now check if the answer from Jessica is correct. And John Mark Alito, and Rowan Plaza, and Carol. It's letter C. So, Bill, you got the correct answer. Very good. Next, let's proceed with number 2. For number 2, it is one of the verbal communication strategies that focus on the rising and falling of voice. We have the following choices. Letter A, is it voice pitch? Letter B, is it voice quality? Letter C, is it speech rate? Or letter D, is it speech volume? What do you think is the correct term for that one of the verbal communication strategies that focus on the rising and falling of the voice? I made mention about that a while ago. What do you think is the correct answer for number 2? According to Miles, it's A. According to Rose, it's also an A. According to Princess, it's a D. According to Ralph, it's also an A. And to Boymar, it's also an A. So let us check which among them is, or who among them is correct. It's letter A. So I see you got it correctly. It's letter A, voice pitch. Next, which of the following statements make you a better listener? Okay, we have the choices. Letter A, your response is you understand them. Letter B, you sympathize with them. Letter C, you also share my story. Or D, you share my misgivings. What do you think is the correct statement that would make you a better listener? You just choose among these 4 statements. Which do you think is the correct answer? We have an answer here from JC, and he says it's an A. From Brianna also. And we also have all, okay, so all of them are saying it's an A. So let us check if the learners got it correctly. Okay, very good. That's really an A. So Roberto, you got the correct answer. You understand them. Next, number 4. Number 4, which of the following nonverbal communication strategies enhance the positive effects and reduce the negative effects of a social interaction? We have the following options. A, use the firm handshake. Letter B, avoid slouching. C, expressing our emotions through facial expressions. And letter D, is it body language? Which of the following nonverbal communication strategies enhance the positive effects and reduce the negative effects of a social interaction? All of these are correct, but there's one great answer. What do you think is according to Nell, it's an A. According to Brianna, it's also an A. According to JV, it's a D. Okay. According to Wesley, it's a C. According to Francis, it's also a D. So let us check who among these learners got the correct answer. The correct answer for number 4 is letter A. You use the firm handshake. So that would be the very first thing that you have to do in an interview. Okay. Next, what would be our last item? Number 5, it can be helpful when trying to convey the tone of your written message, especially during casual conversation. So we're talking through chat. Letter C, is it writing email messages? Or letter D, is it reading emails with expressions? What do you think is the correct answer? It can be helpful when trying to convey the tone of your written message, especially during casual conversation. Again, we're talking about written message on a casual conversation. Which is the correct answer? We have an answer here from our YouTube channel, Eunice. Okay, and she's saying D. From Rose Nemyada, it's an A. From Arel Yalong, it's a D. From Cedric Camba, it's a B. Okay, and we have Roberto Garcia with an A. Rigelin Sincero with a B. Okay, let us check who among these learners got the correct answer. It's letter B. Got the correct answer with good. So, okay, let's try what was our afternoon. The question now is, did you do well in today's session? If you got a 5 in activity 2, please be type hey in the comments. Okay. For me, or if you do well, kindly type there on the comments, yay. Okay, that would prove that you really got a 5 in the activity 2, in the last activity. Okay, I'm waiting for all your yays here. Okay, do we have? Okay, there are still some people typing their answers. And okay, we have a yay from LJ, from John Kiyoshi Layosa also, from Christine Jury Norsho, from Ira, from Brianna, from Gail, from Hargale. So congratulations everyone. And so with Elsie and Lance and Wenchi and Sherry and Eunice and and John Bert and Jomar, that only means that you got a 5 in today's session for the last activity. So good. Congratulations, everyone. That's a good job. This is a very good buena mano for the 4th quarter. And these are the things that we have to always remember. Don't type. Convert. In a variety of result. knowledge, if you just communicate, you get by. But if fully, you can work. That's a quote from, and that's very cool. So I encourage everyone to not just to communicate effectively, communicate skillfully, communicate respectfully to everyone you meet, and I promise that you can work miracles. That is really, really true. Okay, so before I end up, I would like to greet Kagelian Sorilla from Angelica Sorilla, from Canaan Integrated School, that is from the division of Sarangani. Again, it's Tuesday. It's Choose English Day. Thank you very much for staying with me for 40 minutes of English 7 and learning with me, of course. Again, if you have comments or suggestions, you may email us at edtech@deped.gov.ph. Thank you once again. Stay safe, everyone, and God bless everyone. Please tune in to our next tutor for English 8. We have Tutor Rubilin. Again, thank you very much. Stay safe. Stay at home. Bye, everyone. God bless.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETUlay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan bukas mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETUlay free online tutorial session sa Filipino. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETUlay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!